Good morning. I'm Caitlin Matson-Levy, and this is the Green Room. Ballet Wichita's The Nutcracker returns after a year hiatus due to the pandemic. One of the staples of the season, and so exciting for the Wichita area to see it return to Century 2. And there's a new face with Ballet Wichita, their new resident director, David Justin, who I have here with me today. Hello, David.
Hi, Caitlin. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Why do we love the Nutcracker so much? It never gets old. I could listen to the Nutcracker. I could watch the Nutcracker probably every day of my life. Why do you think it means so much to us?
It's kind of woven into the fabric of our culture, and part of it is that music. It's just so compelling. It's singable. It's recognizable. It gives you a sense of the spirit of the season. I think it's remarkable.
Now, you are brand new to Ballet Wichita, just a few months old. I mean, you are a Wichita baby. What do you think of our city in the short time you've been here?
I've been working diligently to discover and learn about this community, and I'm enjoying it thoroughly. I love the history, the crossroads aspect. There's so much investment in the arts. I love the statues all around,
Mm.
and the mural paintings. I just feel like there's a vibrant cultural scene here. It's been great.
And you have a really impressive resume. I have it in front of me. I mean, you started out as a dancer and had a really solid career as a performer, and then moved into choreography. And you have been, I imagine, traveling the world during your career, dancing, performing all over the place. And you find yourself in the Midwest with Ballet Wichita. And you said to me before we came on the air, what a wonderful group of people and how everything seems to click and how you've enjoyed the process with the people of Wichita. Can you talk more about that?
Absolutely. Yet you're right. I have had a lot of experience, and performed and traveled and choreographed around the world. And the work it's hard work. Working in theater, you give yourself over to it completely. And so it's really important that the people you're working with um, feel like a good fit, that it feels natural. And so you make choices about where you work and who you're working with based on that. And the community and the organization of Ballet Wichita, the board of directors, Sandy Walter, the executive director, um, just the entire organization has been so wonderful to work with. I'm just really enjoying myself as we work on the Nutcracker.
There's so much to talk about when it comes to classical dance and ballet, and so much that goes into it. And, I'm used to the discipline that takes to be a performer, but a musician. And any time anybody wants to excel at anything, it does take immense discipline. But dance just seems like a whole new level.
Yeah. Well, to a degree, it is. I think anybody who has a passion and focuses that passion to gain a certain amount of expertise will understand the devotion and how much you give over to it. But imagine dance as a language where you're not only having to learn the vocabulary of the language, but you have to teach the muscles of your tongue and your mouth how to make the shapes and every detail, and then multiply that by how many muscles there are in the whole body and how many joints there are, and the
Mm.
combinations of movements become exponential quite quickly. So it takes a long time to develop that kind of control.
I can't even imagine. But I have fantasized about it throughout my life, what that would be like to be a professional dancer, especially the ballet. It's so romanticized. Maybe that's another reason why we love it so much, because we don't know the reality of it.
The
We
the
just see
sweat
the
and
end
tears.
product.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's sweat and tears that go into it. And dance, ballet in and of itself is simply one aspect of dance. Dance itself is so huge and broad and inclusive that
Mm.
that you know where I intersect at the ballet end of dance, it's just one piece, and I look at this whole thing as what dance can do, not just what ballet can do,
Yeah.
and that makes it really accessible and broad to a lot of people.
This is Scene in the Pine Forest from Act One of Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker. Sir Charles Mackerras conducts the London Symphony Orchestra. Just so gorgeous. I just love that music. David Justin, the resident director, directing Ballet Wichita's The Nutcracker, which is this weekend. And I will add, it is the Nutcracker in the region to attend if you have an interest in experiencing it with a live pit orchestra. The Ballet Wichita Orchestra, under the direction of Mark Laycock, a friend of the station, a familiar name. He is the head of orchestral studies at Wichita State University. He will lead the pit in this luscious music by Tchaikovsky. This is such an involved production in terms of the sheer number of bodies and children.
Yes, yes, we have we have about 80 community dancers in the production, and the kids, they're playing the children in the party scene, but they're also playing mice. They're playing Polychanels, which is kind of a Pierrot or Pulcinella character in the Mother Ginger dance. They're also soldiers. I mean, it takes an army of volunteers to organize and costume all of these kids and get everything working on stage.
Sure, all those dance moms.
I've been so impressed with this community's dance moms. Um, they're sewing, they're gluing, they're building, they're painting.
Oh, wow.
We have snow in the scene that you just played on
Yes.
the video. It begins to snow on stage, and it's really a magical moment because it kind of represents the transformation of Clara into a certain independence, and she starts with a fresh, clean slate, as it were, and making the snow bags to make almost 200 pounds of snow fall on the stage has been quite an undertaking.
Now, do you have a new set, new costumes? Is this, repurposed set and costume pieces from years past, or a little of both?
It is a little bit of both. We're trying to be frugal, but also trying to reimagine the magic. We focused really on the narrative and the storytelling, because that's such an important way that people can connect with ballet. And so we've repurposed some of the existing sets and costumes to imagine them in a way that tells a story in a very compelling kind of narrative.
So, the company of Ballet Wichita, give us a bit about the makeup of it. How many of your dancers are career dancers? How many are maybe they're dance students at the colleges in Wichita? Can you kind of give us an idea of how, what makes up the company?
Yes, yeah, it really is a broad spectrum. We do have college dancers. And in fact, you mentioned Mark Laycock as the conductor. Additionally, from WSU, we have Nick Johnson, who was the head of dance. He's our Drosselmeyer.
Oh, wonderful. And
And
did you know him of Nick before you showed up to Wichita a couple months ago?
I did, I did. Several years ago, I brought some dancers to perform at WSU's Kansas Dance Festival.
Mm,
And in that festival, we share studio time and watch each other teach. And I had the pleasure of watching Nick teach mime.
yes.
And when I was a professional, I was always a very theatrical acting dancer. I was kind of known as a pyrotechnic, so I could do all the jumps and turns and partnering, but I was also a real character actor. And watching Nick bring characters to life through mime class was wonderful. And we really felt like we were kindred spirits back then.
Mm,
So when Ballet Wichita approached me about helping with the Nutcracker, that was one of my first thoughts. I
Mm.
wonder if I could get Nick to do Drosselmeyer. And he said yes, and it's just been great.
So who's your Sugar Plum Fairy?
Danielle Fu from Kansas City Ballet is our Sugar Plum Fairy, and Liang Fu from Kansas City Ballet. So two principals from there. Kansas City Ballet has been very helpful. They've also lent us a few costumes and served as kind of a technical advisor on a couple of things where the Ballet Wichita group is like, oh, this is new for us. We should find out, what they're doing in Kansas City so that we can really execute at the highest level here.
This is the Act Two, Pas de Deux, The Dance of the Prince and the Sugar Plum Fairy, with Sir Charles Mackerras leading the London Symphony Orchestra. David Justin is the resident director and the choreographer of this year's Nutcracker with Ballet Wichita, and he is here with us on the green room. Hello, David. Are there any surprises? Are there any delights? We're going to sit in that audience thinking we know what we're going to be up for. What makes this production particularly fun?
I think when you come to the show, there are little hidden Easter eggs throughout the entire production. We do have a Great Dane in the show.
They're dogs.
There are
People,
dogs.
there are dogs.
Yeah, and the way the dog is incorporated, the dog's name is Indy. Just so everybody, in case you see this Great Dane, her name is Indy. That's really wonderful. We have a new hot air balloon drop that's really special. A Jack in the Box, a human Jack in the Box. So there are a lot of surprises, and the choreography is all new this year. So the dancers have really risen to a very high level, and I think they've learned a lot as they're doing it.
As a choreographer, do you find it hard to strike a balance between people who want the traditional and then doing something innovative in terms of choreographing something like the Nutcracker or Swan Lake?
I don't find that difficult, funnily enough, because ballet in its inception was innovative. That's how it began in the 16th century as a way to innovate performance, and that tradition now is still relevant. And so finding new and magical ways to transport people's imagination, I think it's just a really fun job. And like all puzzles, they're fun to solve.
For tickets, visit Wichita Tix, that's Tix, wichitatix.com. The performances are Friday and Saturday evening at 7 o'clock and a Sunday matinee at 2 o'clock. This weekend is the Nutcracker, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Tickets start just as little as $25. And you said there are seats available for each performance still?
There are tickets left. And ticket sales are going really well. I think people are really excited about the opportunity to come and see a new show with live music. So sales are going well, but there are tickets available. But each of the three shows is going to feel like a really wonderful event.
And I've seen rehearsal photographs of your process over the past couple of weeks. And I see your dancers are masked, and you've incorporated masks into your costuming.
We have this year, out of an abundance of caution, just so that we can have everybody that wants to be involved safely. So we're doing that on stage and backstage behind the scenes.
The Nutcracker, an annual tradition returning after a year of, pandemic misery. We are so grateful to have the opportunity to, go see a production like this once again. Ballet Wichita's The Nutcracker, featuring the musicians of the Ballet Wichita Symphony Orchestra and community members of Wichita, professional dancers, students of Wichita, under the direction of resident director David Justin, who joined the company just this past August. One more time, Friday and Saturday at 7 o'clock, Sunday at 2 o'clock. You can get tickets at wichitatix.com. And for more information on the ballet company itself, head to their website, Ballet Wichita. I think it's .com. We're going to say .com, and it is balletwichita.com. David Justin, thank you so much for being on today and telling us all about ballet in Wichita and the Nutcracker.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. I hope to see everyone there.